I've never done this before and super excited.
All right, woo! It's all happening today. This is the day that we actually lift the house.
Todd wants me to take down our well. This is the wishing well house.
Adventures in real estate.
You never know what you're gonna find when you're pulling apart an older house. This is the insulation that they got going on here. Old carpet. I wonder what the R value of old carpet kind of wrapped up and chucked in the wall cavity is. That's brutal. Brutal! Finished the demolition. As you can see behind me, the house is all stripped. It's all ready to rock and roll. Got the little excavator with a hammer on the front. We're just shooting some elevations, setting out the cut points for the machine to come in and dig the holes for the cribs 2 feet down from our current slab depth. The slab is essentially staying at the same height as it is right now. You can see in the back here, and then you can see this whole cut over here. Those are going to be where the beams go across and the cribs hold onto that, and then it kind of gets jacked up into the air. Talking through any bracing that needs to be done. And so we've got a few days of prep, and then houses going up. Boys got the machine inside the basement, which is kind of cool. The boys at ZBAC are killing it. But we have a little challenge. The machine that you can see in the background there, we actually can't take out the concrete stairs from inside or back here. And we can't get the machine down either side of the house because we've got super narrow down this side and super narrow on the other side. So they're bringing their crane. We're gonna take this machine, we're gonna walk it around to the other side, and then we're actually going to lift it up over the retaining wall and sit it down in the front yard. They just texted me and said that they're on their way, so stay tuned for a flying Kubota. And just like that, got a machine in the front yard.
Cool, it's real nature. It's full of nature down here right now.
Yeah, we got ponds. So we've dug these holes that the cribs will go in, which is this wood right behind you. That gets built up in these four corners. We left this one out so we got easy access in here. So you build this up, you put gravel in the bottom, and then you build this all the way up, and then once we jack the house up on these big beams that run this direction, it sits down on these cribs, and then we can excavate underneath and then pour our new foundation, frame up the walls, and then drop the house back on top of it. Sounds simple, eh?
So you are having these four corners have cribs in them, but currently there's three corners.
Yeah, so that one's cut, but it's not dug out, so that we've got easy access in and out. As you can see, we got a significant amount of water. So the 4 holes were dug 2 feet down, so we put our cribs in there and then excavate around them, and we don't have to obviously move the house while it's up in the air. We did know that there was water in the backyard. We're on a hill here, so just natural that there would be some underground water, but I was hoping that it wasn't this intense. First delivery of lumber from Poco. We're gonna be bringing this lumber into the window right here, so hopefully he can boom this thing in as close as possible, so I don't have to lift too much. Guys are downstairs digging, and I'm upstairs putting in some extra support to make sure that the structure stays as solid as possible when we do the lift. I'm adding another 2x4 walls. So.
Stuff is happening here at the house. It looks very different than the last time I was here. Everything's gone back here. That's what I was helping. I was getting rid of that when it's so heavy. Just Todd's having a chat at the front here with Jamie about how they're gonna apply the shingles siding. Oh, he left.
Plus that slot down there, I do have to get the surveyor back here to give us an elevation. And then just the thought process there is...
Yeah, so we're going to be an extra 4 inches above where you're just always talking about inches and feet all the time.
The current basement wall, I think, is 3 feet.
Fun stuff. Just talking about slabs.
And we're going up 3 and a...
Todd wants me to take down our well. This is the wishing well house. That well has to stay. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna convince him that that well should not be knocked over? He wants me to do it. Even Wes thinks we should keep the well.
Wes doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, there they are.
We gotta brace this corner here, which means we're gonna take off shiplap over here as carefully as possible, and then get a big LVL that runs all the way out here. Then we'll brace back up to this corner and also back up into this corner. So got this bad boy installed here, resting on my blocks in line with the base of the floor joist right here, so that we can take all of this stuff off when the house is up in the air. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Look at that. Happy Monday morning. It is brisk out here for Vancouver, but it's an exciting one because we're actually gonna lift this house today. It's the cornerstone of our whole plan, is to raise the house, get high ceilings in that lower level, and make sure it's warm and dry and inviting and all that kind of great stuff. Josh and the boys have done a great job of getting everything prepped up and ready.
There's a lot of exciting days when you're doing construction. This is right up there. I mean, look at this.
It's lift day.
Very exciting. The sun is shining. Everything's coming together. We have permits. We have a crew. Todd's happy. He's nailing things on the front of the house. Apparently these guys know what they're doing. I have no idea what they're doing, but I have complete faith. Maybe that's blind faith. Yeah, kind of like me with a sledgehammer.
I feel like a kid in a candy store. It's a little windy today, so I'm worried that once we get the house up in the air, it might just go whoo. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. We're separating the bottom part of the wall from the main floor joist. We get to put in-floor heat, insulation underneath, proper drainage. From slab to the top is gonna be about 13 feet in the air. And then we start excavating for our new foundation. And then we get into forming and, well, and then basically we move in after that. That's how fast it is. I mean, normally in television shows, that's how fast it is. Click, boom, done. Doesn't actually work that way. One thing that I've always been concerned about, and really why I wanted to put a new foundation here, is to make sure that we don't have any water issues. When I came this morning and the crib holes were essentially full with water, like right up to the very top, it's concerning to me that we don't get that hydrostatic pressure pushing that water up underneath the slab. Now, obviously when you install a new slab, you're going to have between 2 and 6 inches of gravel, which allows the water to dissipate out towards your perimeter drainage. You know, there's a lot of buildup, there's a lot of assembly there to be able to protect against water pushing up and getting any moisture in the basement. You know, it's not traditionally done, but we've got a lot of water here, so maybe putting some drainage through the middle of the building as well might be a good idea. I'm going to float it out there and just see if it's makes sense to do something like that. It's better to put a little extra effort in right now, because you definitely do not want to come back and deal with this later. Look at that. We're basically like separated from the house. Like the beams are actually holding this house just above the height of this pony wall. So yeah, it's exciting. The
cribs are pre-dug to the depth of the new footings so that later on during excavation they're not undermined. There's going to be a base layer, 2 inches of gravel, especially if we're dealing with some muddy ground. And then it's a solid row, so 6 of the 6x8 4-foot long sections of cribbing make the base, and then we Jenga tower it up from there, 2 and 2, cross and cross. Then we roll the beams in and tighten the beams up. When we go ahead and lift, when the jacks are in, we lift in about 1 foot increments, and as we go, we add cribbing so it's safe. It's never, exposed more than 1 foot, and then we reset the jacks and continue the process. At the start, we use small jacks, a typical small bottle jack, to tighten and place the beams into place, and then also free the house from the foundation. Once the house is free, we come in with specialty house raising crib jacks that sit within the crib, and they're all hooked into a master pump that's on our truck that lifts completely unified. So if one crib is heavier than others, they still go up all at the same time for an even level lift. We also walk through the house and go over bracing, just like you see behind me. If the house is not a perfect rectangle, it has returns, we need to brace up those parts of it so that there's no saggage, and that's achieved through the bracing. Once we're prepped and ready to lift, the house raising crew will come in, crib it up, put in the beams, and then jack it up within 1 working day. Once the house is in the air and secured, the house raising crew will remove the lower pony walls, and the following day the excavators will come in, remove the existing foundation, and dig the envelope of the new foundation.
I think it looks awesome. Like, I think the decision to push it up to 2 feet was the right one, thank goodness. I actually think the lower level now is going to be even nicer than the upper level. Like, our bedroom's going to have 8-foot ceilings and the kids are going to have 9-foot ceilings. So we're at 41 inches, and we're going to be at 24 inches ultimately. That's where it will sit back down. It's going to be awesome. Actually, this gives you a great perspective. So this was the main floor. I mean, you'd walk up here into the back. The back deck was there. But obviously, we've lifted the house, and that's a wrap. These guys did an awesome job. And tomorrow we're going to bring a bigger excavator in here, and they're going to walk right underneath here, take all this out, and we'll be on to the next phase. Renovations. So easy. So easy. Oh, water? Yeah. The drainage is coming straight down. I'm getting drops. This was holding the whole house up. I mean, it was probably out of level before this shim went in, but now it's great. It's slippery down here. Stay on the dirt. Stay on the dirt.
Stay on the dirt?
Jesus. Such a great listener. How's your finger? I did it all myself. All myself. Ignore these other guys here. They're a figment of your imagination. You gotta be super beefy to lift this thing, which is why I'm here. I love that part.